Any other? Mrs. Malone?
Thank you, President Schultz. I just concur. There isn't much more to say other than we need to sit down, talk, and get this moving forward. I think April's coming upon us, and it'll be 7 years, and I think everyone wants to see a resolution about the Carlisle/house and building. So I'm in total agreement.
And further, the city would also need to have further discussion with the chamber and all the other interested parties. What would we do with our other buildings? That was a question mark that was left. What would we do with this building? What would we do with South Paint Street? And we really have to put the whole picture together. And we just need time, but I really want to show that we are interested and supportive of the restoration of that. So I would just call the question at this point.
Okay. Mr. Trutchell?
I believe if we have discussion, it's going to have to be a public meeting type forum as opposed to a review session, because the public's going to have to speak.
Yeah.
And not the entire public, not just the conservancy members, because I know where their heart is. And they want to save that building, but there's a lot of people in this community with opinions of this thing, and it's not just them. So we need to open it up. Thank you.
It would have to be, any forms that have to be a public meeting on that, yeah. Okay, are you ready for the vote? Okay, Mr. Folsom, could you read the resolution for us again before we vote?
A resolution of Chillicothe City Council, be it resolved that City Council will cooperate with community organizations and the owners of the Carlisle Tower/house and building to help promote the preservation and restoration of the southeast corner of Paint and Main Street as a significant landmark of our community.
Okay, I think all hearts clear there. I don't know that I've heard any one council member say they did not want to preserve that building. And so, roll call.
Trutchell.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Luster.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Bonner.
Yes.
Ames.
Yes.
And that resolution passes. Okay, Mrs. Henderson, any other committee report?
Well, I thank you, council members, because you know, this is a tough time of year politically, and I appreciate all your cooperation and your help and your understanding. It was just not enough time to get us all together in a public way, because we're not allowed to meet privately or anything like that, to get us together in a public way to see how we would feel about supporting such a resolution. And I thank you for thinking quickly on your feet and supporting this. That concludes my report.
All right. Any other committee reports this evening? Okay, we'll move on to reports of city officials. Mayor Salzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of council, allow me to address about 3 of your issues on this evening's agenda. First one is item 4, which Mrs. Malone did report on for the issue, Public Works Commission monies, I should say, grant funds for street construction for the year 2010. This year, there will be an additional sum of monies that the city would be entitled to because of some of the federal stimulus monies that have been received by the state of Ohio. So our grant application to the Public Works Commission District 15 would be for $330,000 for the summer of 2010. And I would also join with Mrs. Malone in asking council's favorable consideration of passage of that resolution this evening. The second one deals with what Mr. Trutchell reported upon, which was the joint Ross County and Chillicothe Recreation Boards. This is something that the Recreation Board itself here in the city of Chillicothe, in conjunction with the County Recreation and Parks Board, have been working on for about a year now, in a way to try and see the acreage available to the city out on Western Avenue off of Route 50 West, to see that develop, to see it, as Tom had indicated, take some of the pressure off of the park annex. And it would be a joint cooperative effort. With that, we believe, the two boards believe, that we would be able to apply for and be successful in receiving some grant monies for additions of roads as well as parking lots in that particular facility itself. Item 6, which deals with the resurfacing of US Route 50. This is a project that the Department of Transportation has on its books for the summer of 2010. It would be a grading and new asphalt placement down, as well as street painting for that particular project. It would go from the western boundary limits of the city, which would be at Brewer Heights, all the way to State Route 104. And when that does come up for a vote before council, we would ask council's favorable consideration on that issue as well. Today began the leaf collection within the city. The leaves, with the rainfall that we had last week, came down quite heavily, so that the service department did have a pretty good crystal ball in predicting when the leaves would really start to come down, and today they did begin that collection. We're asking citizens, number one, please don't rake them into the gutter. 2, please don't rake them into the storm sewer system, which we have seen in the past. The leaves get caught in there when it freezes during the winter, then the storm sewers back up, and we have a difficult time clearing those out. Bagged leaves will be picked up separately from the loose leaves that are swept to the curb of the street. Tom had also indicated that the Ohio Department of Transportation, in conjunction with the Chillicothe Parks and Recreation Department, will be having the dedication of the pedestrian bike bridge on Friday, November the 13th, and the tentative time for that has been set at 1:00 p.m. Formal invitations will be going forth from the Ohio Department of Transportation as well as the City of Chillicothe. The Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation herself will also be present for that dedication, and it should be hopefully not raining. The city will also be sponsoring a blood drive on next Monday, November the 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the City Administration Building. This is important when we consider the number of illnesses that we will be experiencing not only within this community but throughout Central Ohio this coming fall and winter. And if anyone is interested in donating blood and would like to make an appointment, they can call 1-800-GIVE-LIFE, and the American Red Cross will schedule a time for you so that you can be present for your donation. This afternoon, we also had the opportunity and the privilege of swearing in our 4 auxiliary police officers for the Chillicothe Police Department. Those officers are very enthusiastic. They are already in uniform and have their weapons. In fact, Chief Moore indicates to me he will be utilizing those police officers this coming Saturday night for the annual JC Halloween Parade. So I want to thank council for their diligence in making sure that this legislation became possible, as well as the funding. And as a result, now our police department increased a little bit. Not full-time officers, but at least auxiliary police officers, which will be able to assist the full-time officers as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Auditor, Mr. Borsey?
Thank you very much, Council President Schultz. I've handed out the overtime for the police and fire and the salaries for transit. I've been reviewing salaries and fringe benefits. Actually started on Saturday morning and still working on it through all today. You will have an ordinance come before you, no doubt, to take care of some funds. It doesn't look too bad at all, not compared to what I thought it was going to be. We have not got the situation resolved with the firefighters, but I understand it may be taken care of very shortly. Income tax refunds are going to need some money. That's been very active account the last 2 months because of all the extensions coming through. But outside of that, everything's moving along fine. Thank you.